Yo, what up, friends? Your top contenders right now. We talked about the Pistons. We talked about the Thunder. We talked about the Spurs. You also got the Knicks, Celtics, Cavs, Nuggets, Rockets, and the Lakers and Timberwolves, rounding out the top 10 in terms of rank of standings, in terms of win-loss records. Also in the MVP, SGA is NBA.com #1 right now. Jokic at #2, Doncic 3, Cunningham 4, Wemby 5. So we'll go around the horn. Warren, we'll start with you. Give us your updated finals and MVP picks, please.
Oh man, I haven't given this too much thought, and
that's
I'm
okay.
It's okay. By the time
we'll do it again later.
We probably talk again. Asking me here today on February 18th and almost 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Yes, that is
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Cavs and Thunder.
Still going with the Cavs. Okay, wow.
Let's go.
I understand they got to prove it. I do, and I'm very hesitant in that. But right now, I think the fit on paper seems to work. I think Harden's going to unlock Mobley in a way that we've been all really waiting for, like kind of that second, third level, or whatever the case may be. And Donovan is playing an amazing season that is like kind of going underrated to some degree, and I'm not quite sure why. Jaylen Tyson is hooping. So they found a lot of great pieces, and I think Harden's going to be able to acquiesce. And Donovan is a guy who can take some of the pressure off of Harden's air quote failures in the playoffs. So I like Cleveland, although I think the Knicks are probably still a better constructed team because they have the continuity, but they're so Jekyll and Hyde, it gives me a little bit of pause. And I'm very concerned about Tatum coming back in Boston. Like I know y'all were talking about it before I got on, so I won't rehash any of that. So that's why I'm picking Cleveland in the East. And I think OKC, when all is said and done, is still the best team in the Western Conference, despite the overtures by the Spurs and the Nuggets, right there. That's who I got there. So yeah, that's my finals pick. You need me to do MVP now, or come back to that?
Yeah, we'll come back to that because I actually want to keep with the finals talk real quick. Cal, what you got?
Well, I picked the Cavaliers to make it out of the East. I'm hesitant, but I'm still going to go with it. Obviously, they pushed their chips all in by getting Harden. So that doesn't mean that I don't think that the Pistons and the Knicks are not, looking over their shoulder. And I think it's going to come down to the matchups, the playoff matchups that take place between the first round and the semifinals to kind of prove my point. As far as the West, I had the Timberwolves picked to finally get to the NBA Finals because I believed that this was going to be the year that Anthony Edwards was going to take a step forward and be in the MVP conversation. And I guess in maybe the first 10 games, it kind of showed a little bit, but that he's tapered off. I know he was kind of in and out of the lineup a couple of times as well, too. I just don't see the team good enough to be able to rock with where the Thunder is. I think when the Thunder comes fully healthy, they're just too deep of a team. And there's not too many teams really in the Western Conference that are going to be able to deal with them. So I think it's going to be the Cavs and the Thunder in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's funny because you and Warren's explanations just changed my mind on one of my picks. Bobby, go ahead.
Now I don't want to jinx it. I mean, these two gentlemen have made fine choices. I don't want to jinx it.
Okay. All right, go ahead and pick the Celtics then. Just say the Celtics are going to go to the NBA Finals to make you feel better. It's like, I'm good with that, whatever.
But in the West, I'm actually going to go with the Spurs.
Okay. All right.
I believe these little nitnoid nagging injuries that SGA and Jalen Williams and the other guys on the Thunder are dealing with. I watched the same thing. This is kind of how the Cavs season went last year. We were playing great. We had a little couple injuries. You're like, okay, we'll be good in the playoffs. I think in the playoffs, those little nitnoid injuries are gonna be the things that are their downfall for not necessarily their play. And I think the Spurs are clearly good enough to capitalize on it because they've been a thorn in the Thunder side all season.
Yeah, that's a good explanation.
In the East, I'm going to go with the winner of the Pistons-Cavs series.
Okay. All right.
I believe these two teams will meet. I'm not going to say what round. I don't think it matters what round. It won't be the first. I know that. It'll either be the semis or the conference finals. Whoever wins that series, I believe, will represent the East. With both these guys, James Harden, he's had his playoff woes, but it's the yin and yang, right? James Harden's thing is he can get past the second round. Donovan's thing is he can't. James Harden is thing is he doesn't show up in playoffs with. Well, Donovan has no problem showing up. He just can't get past. So that yin and yang, and I agree. I think he's going to unlock a new level in Evan, and I think can improve Jaylen Tyson and the other moves we went under the radar. Keon Ellis, so we finally have a defender, a perimeter defender that we can put on a Jalen Brunson, we can put on a Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum if he's there, or Cade, So yeah.
Now, man, so all three of you have factored in to my decisions changing here. I pick, everybody knows I picked the Knicks, excuse me, to start the season versus the Thunder. I'm going to stay with the Thunder. Look, y'all know me. If you know my NBA talk, I always talk about net ratings and how important that is. How good are you in your offensive and defensive net ratings? And when you look at the top contenders, there are 4 teams in the top 10 of offensive and defensive ratings. That's the Spurs, that's the Thunder, that's the Celtics, and that's the Timberwolves. I think, as Cal said, the Knicks are a little, or maybe it was Warren, I apologize, I don't know who said this. The Knicks were a little up and down, a little Jekyll and Hyde-ish, right? Cavaliers, you're right, 12 of 14 since they got Harden, or 12-2 since they picked him up. So he's been a pickup. I thought he was going to be exactly what they needed in terms of another score. Can that hold up? Can they finally get over the hump, sort of thing? I want to be a homer and pick my Celtics. I do, because Jaylen Brown is a superstar. He is a number one. You could get JT back, have 2 number ones, win a championship. If he does come back healthy, I would call a championship back. But I want to see what happens first with JT. Mixing in with Vucevic, because I thought that was a great pickup for the Celtics, but he hasn't meshed just yet with the rest of the team as well as I thought he would. So that's something I would want to look at too. So I am going to keep the Thunder, and I am going to go to the Cavs instead of the Knicks. I'm updating my pick to the Cavs. I believe that with this pickup of Harden, that they can go ahead and hold it. I just don't think the Knicks, I really did have a promise for them, but now seeing how good the Celtics are playing, and with Harden coming to the Cavaliers, I think both of those teams are better than the Knicks. So I'm going to go for now as my updated pick, Cavs and Thunder. MVP picks real quick. Let's get the boys out of here. Who we got? Cal, we'll start with you. Good.
I think it's going to wind up being Jokic. I don't know what the extent of the injury is going to be for Shai Gilgeous, but if he continues to miss extended time and Jokic is, he stays on for the remainder of the year, I think, the numbers that Jokic has put up again is just, it's made them neck and neck. That doesn't mean that Cade and Wemby don't have an inside track to it. I think the only way that happens, though, is that the Pistons have to wind up having the best record in the NBA. And he's going to have to put up some phenomenal numbers during that stretch. I don't know what the schedule looks like that would validate that for them. I'd have to look at that. But right now, I just think it's going to wind up being Jokic if SGA doesn't return.
And if, unfortunately, Jokic misses one more game, though, he's not eligible due to the new rules of 65 games since he missed all those games earlier. So,
well, then the idea would be is that Jokic tells him he doesn't care, but the Nuggets are going to need him to be a part of every single one of those games in order for them to hold serve.
And the bigger issue is, what if Jokic and SGA were both to get hurt and miss all those games and not hit 65 games? Now you're just eliminating your best players from the awards that they should possibly win because maybe they had an injury for 18 games.
But that just tells you how amazing their season has been, because they're doing it in less the amount of time that most of these guys need a whole season for them to put the kind of numbers that they're putting up. Like, basically they're saying, I'm putting up these numbers and I can take time off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I'll come back with 10 games left to let me know whether or not I got to put up them same numbers in order to validate my MVP.
And I mean, Jokic is putting up another triple-double. Warren, who you got?
Yeah, I'm so technical. I think the games thing is going to come into play. I really do. So if it wasn't about that, Jokic and SGA are obviously the front runners, but I think they're not going to play enough games. I think the Jokic injury is pretty significant for SGA. Or he might come back and like, hey, I'm available, but not, you know what I mean? Like, do one of those just so that he can get the award. But if those things do happen, then I'd say Cade probably has the inside track, because he probably will lead his team to the Eastern Conference, number one seed in the Eastern Conference, and it would just make a lot of sense for him to be there. There's some weird stuff going on, I think, with the Jaylen Brown thing, especially now if Tatum comes back, so then that might detract from him as well, too. So I'm going to go with Cade assuming SGA and Jokic are not eligible.
And I'm an analyst, so I love that you did that. That's great. But let's say that they are both out. You do look at like a Cunningham or a Wembanyama or even a Brown, players that may be able to lead their team to that number 1 seed, Bobby G.
I'm going to go with Wemby, man.
Okay.
Just looking ahead at the Spurs schedule, you got 3 matchups potentially against the Joker where he can really put some votes in the bag. You're done with the Thunder, don't got to see them. And the Spurs have a path to where they can overtake the Thunder for the number 1 seed and potentially best record in the NBA. I was going to go between Cade and Wemby, but the Pistons coming out of the break, they have an opportunity to fall back to the rest of the pack. They played the Knicks twice, or played the Cavs twice. I think they played the Knicks twice. So they got some tough games like within the next couple of weeks where they could fall back down to earth. So I think Cade will slip. And I agree. I agree 100%. I think the games play thing will come into play.
I'll play devil's advocate though,
ahead.
Bobby. That could actually elevate Cade Cunningham's opportunity to win the MVP if he has great performances against those teams. So
it could. If they don't win those games, they gotta win.
Point, if they take L's, right, and they fall back to the pack, then that there's definitely it's hard not to then give it to Wembanyama because of
True.
Yeah, again, the game eligibility thing is really going to mess things up year in and year out with injuries happening so often in the NBA. So if SGA is able to play the requisite amount of games, which I don't know if he will or not, like I don't know the extent of injury, like Warren said, but if he is, I'll pick SGA to go back to back. But I'm with Warren. I just don't see. I mean, if Jokic is already on that bubble, I don't see how he can play every game the rest of the year. I mean, he could. But, I mean, not if you're injured and you want to be healthy for the playoffs. It's just not pertinent. I'm going to go, Wembanyama. I'm going to go Wembanyama as well. I'm going to say that somehow the Spurs come back and get the number 1 seed in the West, and Wembanyama takes his first MVP. I like that, Bubby. That's good.
Yeah, and Wemby can only miss 3 more games before he.
Oh, shit. Okay, never mind. I take that back. Scratch that. Wemby's out. I am going with Jaylen Brown, baby. Hasn't missed a game all year. Number 1 player on the best team in the world. Your 18-time NBA champion.
Wemby's such a great pick, though. Like I would talk with you too, but he's played 40 games. They have 28 left, so he's got to play 25 more games.
Yeah,
right?
so
remember, he hasn't missed a game since he's been on this minutes restriction. He's only been playing like 20 minutes a game, and that's probably even more impressive.
Tells me you need a minute restrictions for a reason, which means that you're injured.
Yeah, but he's putting up freaking. What did he do to like?
I mean, look, he's an alien. No one's going to argue the numbers. This man is like something I've never seen before.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment live streams and videos. Boom.